Hello, beautiful ladies, and welcome to Warrior Woman Fitness with myself, Karen McCoy. Today, I want to talk about big box fitness versus boutique fitness. Okay, so there's been a shift in the fitness and wellness landscape. Surprise, surprise. And I see this shift starting, it really started to take hold 3 or 4 years ago when Facebook became uber popular and health and wellness then became the biggest part of any social media. So we've got health and fitness, we've got relationships, we've got making money. So health and fitness is the biggest group. So there's a lot going on there. And the biggest challenge, well, there's a lot of challenges, but one of the biggest challenges that I see is there is this big box approach to fitness, nutrition, weight loss, et cetera, et cetera. What do I mean by that? So you go on to Facebook and there's a gazillion groups dedicated to, let's say, my area, women and fitness and wellness and weight loss, body transformation, right? And so you join a group, one of a million, and there's going to be hundreds, maybe even thousands of people in there. Like it's so incredibly popular, which is really great. However, when I see women coming into this fitness and wellness area as a newbie, and they're asking a question, and they put the question out, and there's a gazillion answers. And so, what I see in that is absolute confusion and overwhelm. However, there is a reasonable acceptance of it because for a lot of newbies, they have the comfort of being in with a big group of people and having 100 different answers to one questions. So they feel seen, they feel validated, and they may want to skim through all the answers or just kind of go with what feels good to them. Nothing wrong with that, right? The challenge is if you're serious about getting back into fitness or starting fitness for the first time, or you're looking at weight loss, you're looking at food, which has become a whole other thing. Everybody owns the food industry these days. What happens is there is a lot of confusion and there's a lot of regurgitated nonsense that I see. And so we have to be really careful about what our intent is, what our goals are. So, boutique fitness, which is what I support and what I teach, is close, intimate coaching with clients in a small group and one on one. And in that area, we get a straight line to question and answer, to accountability, to support, to tightening up a food plan, a training plan, a mindset challenge, all of that stuff. It's more, there's firmer borders on it. So that's boutique fitness. Now, boutique fitness is not for everybody. It really is for women who want the closer connection and they want maybe less noise. They want more of a straight line. And it's also where I like to teach. I like to teach that as opposed to, putting something out or creating a Facebook page where everybody comes in and everybody gets to talk. Again, that has a service and that has women who go in and they feel comfortable in that venue. I'm not comfortable teaching in that venue, and I wouldn't be comfortable telling my women to go into that kind of area because my women are more about laser focused. Let's get to the quick of it. Let's fast track our learning and our results. So that is what I see boutique and one-on-one fitness and health and wellness as being better at than being the big group approach. But what I understand about the big group, the big box fitness and wellness and weight loss is this seems to be the accepted way to move into getting information or getting a body transformation for a lot of younger people, which I'm saying 20s, even 30s. Yes, they're younger. And that seems to be more the model that's out there. And the challenge with that too is you've got so many people with so many different opinions, so many different levels of certification and education, or none at all. And they're all coming forward with their opinions and their giveaways to be able to support somebody on their health and wellness journey. So it's a little bit concerning because when I go into those groups, because I kind of, I kind of scout around and I peek. Sometimes I post. I usually get tarred and feathered. That's okay. Um, I'm used to it. I got thick skin, but sometimes when I'm searching around, I'm minding my own business, I'll see somebody put something up, and I'm telling you, the answers are just wrong. There's too many of them. There's too many experts, and it has also become um, a place of show me the studies, show me the links, show me the URL. I was just skulking around the other day, and somebody was talking about when you should eat, right? Like when, if I'm, the question was, if I'm trying to get into this and I'm trying to build a great body and I'm trying to lose some weight, how do I put my meals in? Say, she said she found her maintenance, which again is another whole conversation about the maintenance and the bulk and the cut. She found her living place for calories, but she wasn't able to get all of her macros in. So this is I think is the if it fits your macros kind of stuff, right? Which is one of the trends that I look at in my YouTube. You can take a look at that. I outline and go over all the different diets, pros and cons. So if it fits your macros, for example, would say, okay, you need this many grams of protein for your body type and your goals, et cetera, et cetera. So she had her protein amount, and she's like, oh my God, well, it's coming now near bedtime. How am I going to I got to get that last meal in because I've got to get my protein in. And people were saying, from the left to right, they were saying, your body doesn't know what time it is. Don't worry about eating late at night. Even I wake up at 2 a.m, one lady said, and eat then as well. The body doesn't know. Just give it what it needs. Okay. So there's one opinion there from this group of people. And then I come in on the side as the unicorn and say, actually, the body does know. The body has wisdom. They're like, what are you talking about? Wisdom. Okay, so I know that ain't my group. Okay. But I continued. Well, there's something called circadian rhythms, and there is something about how the body follows the 24-hour clock and the seasons. Well, that put them into a whole other funk. They're like, what the hell are you talking about, girlfriend? You don't know what you're talking about. You should study nutrition. Oh, okay. So, but I continue on. Well, if you follow Chinese medicine, which I've been doing for 30 years, Chinese medicine, 4,500 years old, and it talks about living in tune and eating and training and moving and thinking and planning with the seasons. And that's a big piece of what I do. Well, that threw them into another whole tailspin. I was called old school, which meant bad, I guess. Old school is bad. You don't know anything. You don't know anything about today's new nutrition, new training. And I'm saying the body is not just flesh and blood and bone. It has wisdom. Have you ever heard of metaphysics? Have you ever heard of chi? Have you ever heard of ancient civilizations that lived in tune with the sun rising and falling? Have you ever heard about quantum digestion, all of this stuff? They're like, no, no, that's old stuff. We don't know. No, doesn't matter when you eat, just shove it in there and make sure you get all your macros in. So I trotted off. So that is an example of the big box fitness, right? So there was like, I don't know how many people, probably 30 people were just like, that's a bunch of, and then one lady said, show me the links, show me the studies. And I'm like, I can't. I'm not here to do the link study thing. I'm just not, okay? Because you see that everywhere. And it's a war of links and studies and this person and this person and this person and this person. And I said, I've been doing this for so long. It's like a 30-year journey for me from everything that I've done around food, nutrition, metaphysics, energetics, epigenetics, everything. And it's just impossible. And she's like, oh, well, then you really don't have an answer. Anyways, that is a piece of the big box fitness that I see as being challenging to anybody, whether you're a newbie or somebody you've been in it for a long time. Well, us old timers, we don't get swayed into that kind of stuff. But I can see if you've only had a few years or even 5 years of moving into health and wellness, or if you're a newly donned coach or trainer, there's a difference between a coach and a trainer or a nutritionist, you're going to probably follow the crowd, right? So the crowd has been coined differently in the last, I would say, 8 years, and like really crazy with all of this boutique fitness in the last 4 or 5 years. And so they're going to be molded into that. And the other boutique fitness, one on one or small group, high level coaching program, which is something that I support, is more there's less people, but there's more depth, there is more longevity to it. So it's a different model, and it takes a lot more time because we're dedicated to the coaching process and to having people learn their own way and ask questions and take it and learn it on their own instead of having to go into a big Facebook group. So very different models, guys. You just have to decide, what is it that I want? Do I want to just go in with the masses and ask a big question and see everything because it's interesting? And there's a lot of different opinions, right? And something might jive with you, then do that, right? Some people also want to be seen because they'll go in there and they'll answer a question, and there's a lot of validation when you see somebody liking your post, or there's, people will put up their pictures, their before and after transformation. So there's a lot of self-assuredness and validation, and if that's kind of what you like, then the big box fitness is cool. But the boutique fitness is very different. So I have a private group. I do not allow people to take it upon themselves to just throw stuff in there and then 10 or 20 or 30 or 100 people answer. It's not the model for my Facebook group. It is for 2 or 3 solid coaches to come in there with their coaching, and a lot of stuff that you're going to see outside mainstream. Like we go back to Pottinger's cats and Weston Price and all of these old studies, these older dudes in the 1900s, and then we go into some of the newer dudes as well, because there's so much richness in the breadth and depth of the fitness nutrition areas that a lot of people aren't even in tune with, like they're just not even in tune with. And we look at metaphysics, we look at emotional guidance system, we look at chi, we look at learning to eat and train and live with the seasons. We learn about circadian rhythms. We learn about proper proponents of sleep. I have a friend of mine, and I love him dearly, but he was so flustered with sleep that he went into, of course, all of these things on the internet, and he has, no kidding, 26 steps to do for him to fall asleep. I'm like, oh man, okay. So that's, again, the newbie kind of look at it, where it's all kind of mathematical and it's all, in the sequential, do this. And I'm like, I teach sleep, but it has to go back to the basics, guys. People are getting away from the basics, and the basics have validity. They have staying power, and we need to live and do more simply. And what's happening is people are overcomplicating, and the big box approach is all about the math. It's about, well, it's only energy in, energy out. If that's how you look at it, then all you're thinking about is weight loss, weight gain, calories, deficit, maintenance, all that kind of stuff. I look at the body as a boutique girl as this wonderful, beautiful blending of the physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual. And all of those are brought into a healthy living program, because those things matter. And once you've lived a lot of life and you've been kicked to the curb a few times, you got to fight your way back. And you do bring in more experience and more awareness. Um, I was told on one of the big box, oh, you think you just have more experience. It's a little bit snooty. And I'm like, I do have more experience. I've been lifting for 40 years and I have been coaching, like serious coaching, not a trainer, not a nutritionist, but I got into and certified as a coach years ago. And that is a different level and a different experience for sure. So it gets pretty challenging to be old school in the new trend, but I still have to understand there's still old school people out there, and there's still people that want to learn old school, back to simplicity, back to basics, rooted in the knowledge of our ancestors and understanding that our body is way beyond just bones and muscle and flesh. Like, I'm just like, are we in grade 2 here? Okay, it's not everything is a mathematical equation, and we don't eat numbers, we eat real food. So decide what your goal is and go play in the boutique fitness. Just be careful what you say, or not the boutique, the big box store. I'm sorry. Go play there because it's fun and there's a lot of people doing a lot of stuff, and some of it's really weird, and some of it is like you can just kind of like want to shake your head and go, no, don't believe it. But it's entertaining. But people could be quite choppy because there's like a crowd and you're trying to elbow your way through the crowd. And so they're kind of stepping over each other when it comes to like the posts and opinions and links and all that kind of stuff. And I'm just like, whereas boutique fitness is a little bit calmer, a little bit quieter, more straightforward, and let's have a real conversation and a conversation that matters. So decide what you want and go out and have fun with it and start getting curious and start putting on your hat and looking at stuff from a different point of view, going, oh, that's interesting. And be open to be challenged, be open to ask questions, and be open to decide, what is my truth? What feels right for me? And it could be that you want to have a huge audience with a lot of the input, and that's going to be right for you. You'll know if it's right for you. If it kind of like jives you up, okay, great. Then that's where you're going to be. Or you might want a little bit less action, different environment in boutique fitness. And there are some smaller, really tight groups. They're managed very, very well. The one I run is Over 40 Fit and Lean. It's a Facebook page, and it is me on it every day and two other coaches that come in. And we are there just to break out of mainstream, try to put some sense into people's brains, and be able to help women over 40 really understand what's going on with their body, with the change, with aging, with their physique desires, with their level of experience, where they want to go. So it really is a different approach. And I've had a few people say, how come you don't let other people talk? I do let other people talk, but I'm going to watch to see what comes in, because I see what's happening in these other groups and it's actually getting nasty in there. And so me and my two other coaches see any posts that come in to approve them, because we don't want to runaway train, because it doesn't serve anybody. And there's runaway trains, in a million of them out there in the big box fitness areas on Facebook. Now it could be on Instagram, which I'm kind of on, but not really. Maybe it's in other areas. I'm not sure, but I'm just talking in the forums and the pages in Facebook. So buyer beware. Just decide what you want and just know the rules. I'm constantly breaking the rules when I go into the big box, but sometimes I can't help myself because I see stuff in there that it's like at a grade 4 level. And I'm like, oh. And then you see people lapping it up as the answer. And I'm thinking, girl, you're just going to spend 3 or 4 years learning that that's not right. It's not right. There's no teeth to that. There's no groundwork to that. So Just consider the source. Okay, you guys, be well. I'd love to hear your comments. I know this post will probably trigger some people. That's okay. I'm the trigger queen. I swear to God. I seem to be triggering people all over the place. Okay, have fun. Leave your comments if you want my free fitness and lifestyle ebook for warrior women over 40. Say yes, and I will pop it to you free. Okay, ciao.